First at 4, Governor Whitmer makes a virtual trip to Capitol Hill. Her message to Congress about what Michigan needs during the COVID-19 crisis. Democrat Joe Biden blasts how President Trump is handling the nation's civil unrest. The former vice president's challenge for Congress and for all of us. Also, we'll hear from Dr. McGeorge.
Exposed up north, why health officials are trying to track down visitors and what you need to know about contact tracing designed to make us all safer from COVID-19.
Thunderstorms already forming on the other side of Lake Michigan. They're headed this way and they could be severe overnight. We'll look at the timing and how long that threat lasts right now. First at 4.
Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
Good afternoon, I'm Karen Drew. First at 4, Governor Gretchen Whitmer announcing some tough questions before the House subcommittee about Michigan's response to the coronavirus pandemic. Now, in her testimony, the governor called on the federal government to help states provide more widespread COVID-19 testing and personal protection equipment. She also pushed for additional federal funding to help states deal with the economic fallout from the pandemic.
We have now processed more unemployment claims in a single day than during the worst week of the Great Recession. We've already reached the highest unemployment rate since the Great Depression. Right now, the language in the CARES Act does not give us the flexibility we need to address our revenue shortfalls. A broader solution is needed, and I think that
Now, we're sorry, that streaming audio sounds a little bit off. We're going to, though, dig deeper into her testimony tonight when you join us at 5. We're also tracking new cases of the coronavirus and new changes as the stay-at-home order is lifted. The state just told us it recorded 37 additional deaths from the virus since yesterday. There are also 99 new cases of the virus in Michigan. Those numbers have been trending in the right direction. Governor Whitmer says that allowed her to lift more restrictions, with restaurants and retailers getting ready to expand how they do business. Today, Detroit's Mayor Duggan announced the City Council unanimously passed an ordinance to make it much easier for city restaurants to expand sidewalk seating. But other businesses are still closed, including hair and nail salons, gyms, theaters, and tattoo parlors. Many of the businesses that remain closed are working to convince state lawmakers that should change. A joint oversight committee is hearing testimony from small businesses that include salon owners. The Safe Salon Coalition for Michigan says Michigan is now the only state in the country where salons remain fully closed. Paula Tutman spoke to one business owner who's afraid she won't reopen in time to save her livelihood.
Without question, there are a lot of people out there who want to get their hair done and get coiffed professionally. And as far as nails, well, they're horrible. But these are not the businesses that have been given the green light to open yet. And it is painful. Julie Cotton, the owner of Salon Enigma in Farmington Hills, has had an emotional conversation with her 10-year-old about why mommy isn't working.
Asked me a couple weeks ago, "Hey, Mama, what's the number to the governor's office?" I go, "Why?" He goes, "Because I see you so sad and I want you to go back to work."
The fact of the matter is she is terrified of COVID and equally terrified of not reopening her nail and hair salon.
The disease doesn't care who it is, and it doesn't care that you can go to the bar and you can go get your teeth whitened.
So she's developed her own best practices to get ready.
I met with a couple girls there last week and we cleaned the stations. We pulled back everything, rearranged the stations so that when the stylists come back to work, they can do every other station to maintain the social distancing. They will wear a mask or a face shield.
And she wants the governor to hear and see what she's doing.
Clients will be asked to wait in their car, call the salon when they come in. We will come and get them when the stylist or myself is ready. And we will ask them the series of questions. How do you feel? Have you had a fever? Have you been exposed to anybody? And if they meet all the criteria for that, they can come into the salon. They're going to fill out their name so I can have a log of who they are, who they're seeing, their temperature, the date, and all that stuff, so we can track it if we need be. And same with the employees. I'm going to be in a face mask, a shield, gloves, and then it's like 18 inches between me and my client when I do their manicures and stuff like that. And we will do whatever we can to make it as safe as humanly possible.
She knows the virus doesn't care about her livelihood, but she does. And she's willing to go to war against the virus to keep it at bay in order to win the battle to keep her business alive. Paula Tutman, Local 4.
Now, a warning right now. If you were up north last Friday, health officials say a person who has since tested positive for COVID-19 visited 3 different locations, and they haven't been able to track down everyone who may have been exposed. Our Dr. Frank McGeorge joins us with details.
Everyone should expect to hear more of these alerts as contact tracing ramps up in Michigan. This will be a key part of trying to keep cases down and the economy open. The Health Department of Northwest Michigan says on Friday, May 29th, a person who has tested positive visited the Ottawa Casino in Petoskey between 2 and 5 p.m., the Pine Squirrel Bar and Grill in Gaylord between 5 and 7 p.m., and Paul's Pub in Gaylord between 7 and 9 p.m. If you were at those locations during those times or soon after, you should monitor yourself for symptoms for 14 days, and if you develop any, seek testing right away. Remember, some people can be infected and not show any symptoms, but are still able to spread the virus. Contact tracing occurs when someone tests positive and contact tracers track down close contacts that person had and places that they visit during the time they may have been infectious. For this process to work, it's critical that you answer your phone if the health department calls you. Now, the call will come from 866-806-3447, MI COVID Help, or your local health department. You might also receive a text from 25051 prior to the call. Contact tracers will never ask you for your social security number, driver's license, or credit card information. And if someone claiming to be a contact tracer does, hang up immediately because it's a scam. Now, you won't hear news alerts about every place that someone who tested positive has visited, but in this case, the health department was unable to track down some people who potentially had close contact, so they issued an alert. Now, you can look at those times and locations again on the coronavirus page at clickondetroit.com. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Doc. For a 5th night in a row, protesters are expected in downtown Detroit. This is video from last night. They've been demanding justice for George Floyd, who died in police custody in Minneapolis. Now, last night's protest in Detroit was probably the most peaceful. Only 40 people were arrested. That is down significantly from Sunday night's peak of 110 arrests. That was the first night DPD enforced a curfew. Police reported more than 80 arrests Saturday night and 61 on the first night, which was last Friday. Make sure to stay with Local 4 at 5 and 6 as we monitor events in downtown and over in Warren, where protests should start in about an hour. Today, Deputy Chief Todd Bettison talked about the emotional toll the protests are having on him as well as his fellow officers.
I didn't understand why the protesters were angry at us, Detroit police, when we work so hard in the community to connect. And I tried to relay that to them, that we're not the problem, we're here with you.
The deputy chief gets more emotional as he talks about kneeling with protesters and the reaction from the department. We'll have that part of the story when you join us tonight at 6. Much of the nation is talking about these images from outside the White House last night. Federal officers and the National Guard moving on peaceful protesters, clearing the way for President Trump to have a photo op outside of a historic church. Joe Biden is one of the people raising his voice today. Devin Skillion in the newsroom following this for us. And Devin, the former vice president is not holding back.
No, Karen, the presumptive Democratic nominee, we still have to say presumptive, for president is trying to draw a contrast between what a Biden presidency would look like compared to the current administration. He also says addressing the racial divide highlighted once again by George Floyd's death cannot wait.
If this agenda will take time to complete, it should not wait for the first 100 days of my presidency to get started. A down payment on what is long overdue should come now, should come immediately. I call on the Congress to act this month on measures that will be the first step in this direction, starting with real police reform.
Biden went on to talk about a battle for the nation's soul and accused President Trump of feeding the divisions and fears. Yesterday, President Trump spoke in the Rose Garden as those officers moved on peaceful protesters at the time outside the White House. He's invoking a rarely used law threatening to send U.S. armed forces into states where protesters turn violent.
Mayors and governors must establish an overwhelming law enforcement presence until the violence has been quelled. If a city or state refuses to take the actions that are necessary to defend the life and property of their residents, then I will deploy the United States military and quickly solve the problem for them.
He thinks division helps him. His narcissism has become more important than the nation's well-being that he leads. Ask every American, look at where we are now and think anew. Is this who we are? Is this who we want to be?
After being roundly criticized for the visit to St. John's Church last night, today the President and First Lady visited a shrine to St. John Paul II. We're told that was to honor the late Pope's, what would have been his 100th birthday. That was actually back on May 20th. So, Karen, much more coming up from Washington when you join us here for Local 4 News at 5. Till then, we'll send it back to you.
Thank you very much, Devin. Now let's shift gears, just like Mother Nature has been doing. That summer-like feeling is back, and it is bringing the potential for those summer storms we know so well. Ben joins us with what we can expect for the next couple of hours. Ben.
Yeah, Karen, if you've been outside, you know it's 88 right now, and that humidity has been jacked up. It definitely feels like summer. And we've got a storm threat that's coming in tonight, although I think it's probably going to be several hours before we have to worry about it. Let's go to 4 Live Radar. We're watching those storms that are happening right now over parts of Minnesota, and you can see the lightning strikes out there. The numbers may not mean much, but the fact that they're increasing means that that line is strengthening. If we take the lightning off, you can see that line pretty much extends from the South Dakota border into Wisconsin. That's going to cross Lake Michigan, and that's going to be here as we go overnight. So the severe risk is slight, or category 2, for pretty much everybody. They've actually expanded that category 3 risk, the enhanced risk, which is now reaching into Gratiot County. So we'll have to watch that carefully tonight. Otherwise, it's midnight to 6 a.m. with most of those storms being on the back end of that window. Damaging winds will be the biggest threat, along with hail, and the highest threat will be in the north zone. We'll pinpoint those storm threats a little bit more coming up in just a few minutes. Karen?
Thank you, Ben. Still ahead, one of the most influential retailers in America says one COVID-19 change is not going away anytime soon. Up first, another police chief's frustration. He speaks out about the damage and destruction in his community.
I don't understand what that has to do with Mr. Floyd's death. That's what I don't understand.
Then he is overcome with emotion while talking about some of his officers. His message straight ahead.
The pandemic has had a ripple effect on so many things, even your sunscreen. Tomorrow at 6 a.m., I'll show you why a critical change is not being made and what it means as you try to protect your family from the